Good morning. My name is Vincent Volpe. I'm the president of Jarvis Products Corporation. We want to show you the adjustments that are needed for the JC4A. This is the Dehider, and the adjustments are in the bottom part of it. This is called the valve assembly. And they will take this apart and show it to you and show you how to make the proper adjustments. This Dehider operates at 45 to 70 psi. Do not go over 70 psi or it will shut down. It is run by a governor in the air motor, and it is a well-patented Dehider, and it has been tested and proven for the last 3 years. And this is our latest model, and we'll take this apart and show it to you. In addition to that, I just wanted to point out that it is necessary, before you get started, to check your air filter lubricator. Air filter lubricators have been hung up on the floor for a long time and have been forgotten about. And what happens is the venturi and the air passages clog up from oil and dirty air or water. So be sure that your air filter lubricator is working properly so that you feed enough oil into the Dehider. And to do that, you have to probably take it apart and take the oil fill jar and be sure that everything is clear. Now, if it's a microfiber air filter, and most filters are, only 1/25 of a drop of oil will come out the filter into the air motor. So you could starve the air motor. The air motor requires 5 to 6 drops a minute. So you have to set your gauge and probably get 40 to 50 drops a minute of oil going through here to get 1/25 of a drop, or 5 drops a minute going into here. Now, the way you can do that, if you don't want to go to all that trouble, is to run the Dehider by pressing it, put your hand behind it, and if oil comes out and fills the center of your palm center of your hand, then you have adequate oil for the Dehider. We are located in 18 locations, foreign locations around the world. We give service all over the world. I'm very happy to do whatever I can for you. If you're happy or unhappy, contact me. My email is president4@hotmail.com. And I just love to hear from you. We love the business we're in, we love the tools we make, and mostly we love money. So I can assure you that I'll get back to you with whatever questions you may have about our company. We're very happy and very proud, and as you see here, these flags represent the 18 world locations that we are in. These are not distributors. We do have distributors, but these are wholly owned subsidiaries of the Jarvis Products Corporation. So we control each one of those subsidiaries from here. So we're going to be sure that you get perfect service all the time. And if you don't, I want to hear about it. It's a pleasure showing you these pictures, and as we develop more products, we'll be giving you the same information again. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mike from Jarvis Products, and today we're going to build a JC4A. All right, I'm going to start working on the handpiece. First thing we're going to do here is you got to lightly file along the edge here just to remove any bumps, because this must be nice and smooth. You don't have to do much. It doesn't take much. Just a very, very light file. And then we can put this in next. I have a fixture here. This goes on the fixture just like that. This gets lined up in here. Then just a couple quick taps, make sure it's seated. the 4 screws. The Loctite 271. Loctited in place. All right, so now I'm going to put in this grease fitting. I just put a small drop of 609 Loctite on it. So we're going to press this in. So just pressed in just like that. Now we're going to assemble the governor. This gets six bearings that go inside. And we'll put the cap on. Got to spin it to get it to drop. So now there's a tiny hole in the side here. We got to get that to line up with that notch there. And we have our pin that has to go in. This holds the whole thing together. So with the pin centered, I can take it out of the fixture. There we go. Assembled governor. Now we're going to put the motor together. I'm going to start by pressing this bearing into here. And this just pretty much sits on this. A little bit of grease around here. Then this piece goes on. There's a sharp edge on the outside, goes up towards the outside of it. It should press on by hand. Then the gear just gets tightened down with an 18mm wrench. You don't want to do it too snug or it won't spin. Then just check it should spin. Next, we can put our vanes in. It's always good to check to make sure that the vanes aren't longer so that they stick up. You know, these are all flush, which is good. If they're too long, again, you know, the motor won't spin. This goes on here just like this. The pin right here lines up with this hole. I'll put a little more grease on here. Then we have this piece goes on here. Just like the other side, the outside sharper edge goes out. That gets pushed down like so. And we have this piece. You can see the air channel lines up with that air channel. Now that this piece is pressed down, you want to make sure you have no gaps. Make sure it's nice and flush down. Then we're going to grab this. This goes down in there. Then we have our bearing. I'm going to put this here, and this gets pressed in. So from here, we can take the governor, and this is a left-hand thread, so this screws in counterclockwise. This gets lightly snugged up. And now we can begin building the back half of the motor. With this piece, it goes here. And this piece, you'll see the inside is smoother, and this here is sharper. The sharper edge goes up. And we have this little ring here. This goes in here. Just like that. This holds this together. And inside here, this O-ring gets pushed down. Like so. And you'll see this little notch right here. There's only one. That notch gets lined up with this pin. It also lines up with the outside of this piece. You know, so once you find the notch that matches up with this, you can look at this and follow it right down at the pin. And you can feel it when it goes in. It won't spin. So that's a complete motor. Next, we'll put together the drive assembly. That bearing just gets pressed on that like so. Then we have this bearing that has the shield on one side. That'll get pressed on here. One thing to look at when you put these pieces on, when you bring them together, you want to make sure that they're lined up. Now this here is a weight, and it goes on and it lines up with the weight of this piece in here, and you could actually feel it click in. Like, see how there's a gap? If I turn it, it'll drop. So this clicks into place. And then this gets pressed down on top of this. And here it is pressed in. Now we're going to assemble this. This piece gets pressed in first, goes all the way down to the bottom. Should sit in there like so. And now we'll go press this in. After we've pressed in this piece, this goes in next. A little bit of 609 Loctite. Just a dab, doesn't take too much. Now, when we put it in here, this notch needs to line up with that hole in the center. So this will get pushed in just like this. So now we'll go press that in. Now that we've pressed this piece in, we can go ahead and install this. Put a little, very small 242 Loctite, the blue Loctite, on the thread inside. Very, very, very small amount. Then this gets a light coating of oil because it must slide. It can't seize up at all. Then this gets screwed down with this tool, supplied with the saw. And then just lightly snug this down. And we can take our spring and the cap. And snug that down as well. It's good to check to make sure it moves free and it doesn't hang up in any way. Next, we'll put the trigger lever on. This will go here, and then the pin gets pressed through into here and holds that on. Now that our trigger lever pin has been pressed in, we can install our air fittings, the muffler and the air intake. Make sure you properly snug these down with a wrench. Now we're going to assemble the motor into the handpiece. I'm going to start by using a little 242 Loctite. Just go on the threads inside. Motor should slide in. Then you'll want to make sure that this is properly snugged down. Once this is all snugged up, we can begin installing this here. Put the O-ring in first. That gets pushed on just like that. And put our bolts in here. Stand this up. You want to make sure that the bolts are lined up with this, because this will move. Before you completely snug the bolts down, you want to make sure the handle, everything is lined up, because you can turn it. I just make sure that this is straight with this. Once you've verified everything is in line, you can snug these bolts down. We can install the drive assembly next. I'm going to begin by filling the inside with grease. Now we can put our 2 screws in. Make sure they're snug down. From here, we'll press this in the back. Then you'll want this whole surface coated in grease. And we can set this down. There's a little hole right here. It lines up with that pin. And from here we're ready to install the blades. And once the blades are on, you're done. It's complete.